Hi everyone, it's Sue here from Scrappy Doo Sue. I'm going to do part 3 of this kit journal that I bought a long time ago from Zoe at Razza Crafts on Etsy. And today we're going to sew in the signatures. So this is a different way to sewing in the signatures to what I normally would do. So I thought I'd do it on camera so that everyone could see. So with the kit came 15 sheets of this lovely tea-dyed paper, and with the intention of there being 5 signatures. I'm only using 3 signatures in mine because I think that's plenty enough for me to handle. So with the instructions that came with this kit, I'll just get them. They've just slipped down into my trolley dolly. You get this piece of book cloth, it's called, and it's sort of waxy on one side and it's like a sort of a calico on the other. And what you do is you fold it to the size of your spine and you make 2 creases, which I had already done in the last episode. So you're making a gully out of it. Now I've never used anything like this before, so that's my gully, and into that gully will be sewn the 3 signatures, and then the whole thing will be stuck to this spine of this journal, like so. Okay, and it uses a 5 stitch. I've only ever used a three hole pamphlet stitch. This is using 5, but it gives you directions of how to go. So you sort of go into the top of the signature, along to through the last but one, down into the last one that side, then back across here, and like that. So somehow that works. So we're going to sew each signature in separately into that gully. So to start off with, we need to make 5 evenly spaced marks on a piece of paper the same height as my biggest page in my signatures, and placing, so that's what we'll do. So okay, let's have a look. So what I've got here is, so the tallest page is on my signatures is this size here. Okay, so I found a piece of card here. Any old card will do. This is a scrap, that's a piece of packaging. Any old card will do. This is the width of the gully in between the 2 folds of this book cloth here. So what I want to do is I've got to make 3, because I've got 3 signatures, I've got to divide this 3 this way and then put my 5 holes down. So let's roll up my sleeves, find my ruler, and so I know this is the width of the gully here. So here's the gully here, so I know it's going to be there. I've got 3 signatures. I don't want 1 signature there and 1 there and 1 in the middle. I want 1 sort of come in a bit, 1 in the middle and 1 a bit in there. So this is actually 4.5 centimeters wide, or it should be 1 3/4 inches. So it's 4.5 centimeters. So I'm thinking, what's the best way to divide it by 3? If I go in 1/4 inch here, so if I go to the top of that piece, so this is the width of my spine and it's the height of the book cloth, which is not the height of the actual book cover, the journal cover, because you don't want it going right to the top either or to the bottom. So I've got 1/4 of an inch in this way, and if I do 1/4 of an inch into this way, that then leaves me, if I measure between the two, it leaves me 1 1/4 inches. So if I divide that by half, so that's how many quarters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarters. So if I measure 2/4 and 1/2 of a quarter there, that's my center. So that's 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and then I've got I have to measure it in eighths now, so it's 2, 4, 6, 10 eighths, I think that would be, of an inch. Okay, and I'm going to do the same down the other end. So I'm coming in here, 1/4 of an inch. This is how I would do it anyway, 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm doing 2 1/2. So 1/2 plus 2 eighths there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 eighths in the middle. Okay, right, now I'm going to divide this length into 5. So I know that this is the height of the height and width that I want, height of the book cloth, and the book cloth will be sitting and glued in about here. So I'm just going to make a mark on this cloth underneath that we've covered the cover with, just so that I can see where I'm going to sew that in. Now, where I'm going to stick it in rather. So down this side then I've got my 3 lines here. So if I join them up here, so that's going to be where one signature will go, and then the middle signature. And I think trying to put 5 in, for me personally, will be very fiddly and difficult, and I don't know how I'd manage that. So I've got my three lines for the signatures, and I want 5 holes. Now I don't want my holes to be right at the top or right at the bottom, so I'm going to measure this down here now. So this measures just under 8 1/4 inches, or in centimeters it is 21. So let's use centimeters as it's an even number. So we want to divide it by 5. So 5 into 20 goes 4. So that would be 4 centimeters. If I do it a centimeter, okay, let's do 4. So we go 4 centimeters is there, 8 centimeters, 12 and 16, and then we've got a whole 1/2 centimeter, a whole 1 centimeter then to use up. So this is where it gets tricky. So okay, so I'm going to start off at 1 centimeter up from the bottom. That's my first hole, and 1 centimeter up from the top. So these are going to be the holes here, and then I'm going to go 4 centimeters in there. So if I go 4 there and then 4 there, that's 3 holes, and then 4 there is 4. It's still too much. What is it I'm not seeing here? Or do I just go for it? So am I being too technical? So start them off. If I start them off there and there, then, and that book, so they're going to be quite a way in. So we start 1 there. Let's do, I know what we'll do. We'll measure them. So I've got 1 at the top and one at the bottom, 1 centimetre up from the top, down from the top, and 1 up from the bottom. Okay, so then what I've got in the middle then, in between those two, is 19 centimetres. So if I find my centre point, that will be, divide 19 by 2, so that will be 8.5. So if I go 8.5 here, that's going to be my middle point. So that's 1, 2, 3 holes, and then I'm just going to divide between that middle point and that point there, which is 8.5. So that will be 4 and 4 there, and then do the same here. 4. And so it's 4.25 centimetres there, and then 4.25 centimetres from here is there. So those are my points. That one there, I'm just going to put a cross over the top so I know, because I've put a few points there and there. So now all I need to do is just go across here and measure with the ruler those there, so we know that that's, sorry, that took me a bit of working out. I've still got a very fuzzy head from this COVID that's lingering at the moment. Extremely tired as well. Now, does that look even? Let's have a look. There's a bigger gap here and here, so I've gone wrong somewhere. I've gone wrong, so I've got 19, so 8. I know what it is. 9 and 9 is 18. So my middle one is there. Gosh, so that's my middle one. Okay. So I'm just going to number them so I know. So it's 1, 2. Oh, hold on a second. Where's my middle one? Middle one is there. So that's 1. That's 3, 4 and 5. And the gap between those two is 5. So about there, so that is actually 2. I ain't gonna have to rub that out now. Okay, so just showing you how I do it, which may confuse you, but I've just divided this so that I can make the holes. That's all I'm doing. These would be the holes for the signature. So I think I'm just going to stop the camera and I'm going to redraw it on the back there. Hold on. Right, I did it. That was so messy. I've gone and done it this way, and I've turned it into a grid. So basically, we've got, these are our holes for the signatures. So we've got, I'm just where the lines intersect there on those boxes, I am just making a dot. And that's where my awl is going to go through. Okay, right, so just get my bit of sponge. You know, I always have this fear of doing signatures. I'm always a bit fearful that they're going to be totally wrong. So have something underneath when you use an awl. This is an awl with a pointy end. It's very, very sharp. But you don't want to go through your surface. So you could use a book, an old book, you know, like your glue book or whatever, and you could go put that underneath. So I've just got this bit of sponge. So I'm just literally making holes now where I've put those pencil dots. And that will be where my signature will be going through. So I'm just doing this so that I know clearly where those points are for the holes. So take your first signature, make sure all the pages are up the right way, so have a quick flick through. So I'll do one and then I'll do the others, put the holes in the others off camera. So I'm just going through it now, and make sure you have them, the pages in the position where you want them in the journal. So I kind of want that one down a bit. So this is just a little bit for fiddly bit really, and it's just really an exercise to make sure. I'm going to put an envelope in that one, but we'll take that out for now. So it's going to get in the way. That one's got a paper bag in it. This one has a card, that's the centre. So all those sides should be matching. So that's my centre. And I use clips. So just get my clips down. What I do is, to keep this from moving, all I do is make sure I've got exactly how I want it. Make sure I've got the middle in there like so, and then I am going to clip the main bulk of it like so. So I'm not too worried about the centre page because I can see that it's going to be okay. And then taking my template here, and I'm finding my center point here, and I'm going to fold that so that my lines, do I need to fold it? Let me see. I just want to make sure that is in the middle of that crease there. I'm going to lay that on the actual crease of this journal, and I'm going to I don't suppose it matters which line of holes I use really, which I can use whichever. So I think what I'll do is pin this into place, clip it. So I'm just going to make sure that is on the crease line there, like so, and the same down the other end. That this is on the crease line, like so, and then I'm going to push my awl through to make holes in the signatures, like so. Depending on what you've got in your signatures, this can be quite tough. So I've got my holes there, okay. Right, so I'll just do the others and then we'll do this book cloth. Okay, right, so I've done that. So I ended up folding it in half, and I felt that that was easier to put down the crease of each signature like this, and then clip that and then make the holes. So that's what I did. Okay, so all the holes are done. So now we have to, because we're not putting holes in the spine, we're putting holes now in this book cloth. And what we've done is we've made a gully. So that gully there is where the spine, the signatures are going to sit in here. So basically all I'm interested in, and I'll put it on here so you could see better, is I've made the folds the width of the spine. And what I need to do now is I need to transfer onto this these holes. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take my awl, so I've got it lined up against each fold down here, and roughly top and bottom, and I'm just going to make holes in this book cloth. Now, as I say, this is the first time I've ever done this, so it's going to be a learning curve for me too. Let's see what we've got. So here we have our holes. If you can see those, but that is where the signatures are going to be sewn into. So I'm going to attempt to sew one. So this is the thread that came with the kit. It's not the waxy thread I would normally use. And for each signature, they normally say at least 3 times the height of the journal, or 3.5. So I'm going to use 3.5, I think, and hope that I've got enough on here. I don't want too much left over. So I'm cutting 3.5 lengths of this. And my needle, I sourced my needle earlier, so I've got a more delicate looking needle than I normally would use. But I don't want with a massive eye, because that can make the holes bigger in your signature. So threading our needle, and we're taking our first signature. So this is what I want to be at the front. Okay, so now I'm just going to have a quick look at these instructions as to where these so this is how it says. I don't know if you can see that diagram there, maybe not, just there, of how to sew them in. So it says, so I've got to sew it to the book cloth, right? So it says, so this is going to be my first one, so it's the first row of holes, and I'm going to go in through the back, so in through the back, the middle hole of this book cloth, and then this is where it gets fiddly, and that's why I didn't particularly want to actually do 5 signatures. So I'm a bit of a coward, I think. So into the middle hole from the back, from the outside in of, now this is where it gets fiddly. I find it extremely fiddly. So going in there, like so. Gosh, your needle doesn't want to go through any of this. Okay, let's bend it into the shape it will be in. Let's see if we can pop that through. That seems to have gone. Okay, I'm just going to take my awl and go through those from back to front. Sometimes you have to do that, I think. So going in there. Does not want to go, that's it, right. Okay, I don't want to pull it out of this book cloth, so I am, and I've succeeded in doing that. So I don't think I put the book cloth on yet, because it says here, gather the papers for your signatures, then place 5 evenly spaced marks on a piece of paper the same height as your biggest page. Place on the inner crease, and using an awl or the bradawl, make a hole through each group of papers, which we've done. Then make 2 folds in your book cloth, which we've done, to make a gully the size of your spine, and using the same template used to make the holes in the signatures, make 5 evenly sized rows of holes in the book cloth, which I've done. Stitch each signature to the book cloth using the diagram above. Oh. I can't work this out. Oh. So that has to come out. So which way? We're going to have it this way round, I think. So we're going in this gully here. I'm just hoping I've done this right. I'm not very good with these. I find I get overawed with all the, what I think are complicated instructions. So that's going to be my piece that's hanging over, and I want to make sure I actually secure that. So I'm going to clip that in so I don't pull it through. Okay, so I've gone in from the outside to the middle, and then I'm going from the middle up to the next one. So I'm going so I'm going middle, I'm going into this one here. This is the top, yes. So going through there. Oh, that was easy. Through there. And just 2 more steps to a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And then I'm coming back through here, the top hole. Okay, let's make sure that's in the position. I mean, the worst that can happen is that if I've got this wrong, I can unthread it and start again. It's this book cloth that's making me nervous, stitching it to this, because I'm hoping that I've got it in the correct way. I'll just go through the book cloth because that's a bit waxy and I think it's stopping me from going through my hole, which is here, like so. Right, so we've done that and we're up to there, and then we're going back through this first hole again, there, through there, up, through there, back through this one, making sure you don't split that thread from the previous time you went through the hole. So we're going all the way down to this last but 1 hole down the bottom here, and through a hole in the signature. Gosh, this is fiddly, it really is. I'm going to have to take that off now. I don't want to. Let's move that up to the top, so I'm catching that thread up the top there, because I feel like it's in my way. So I need to lift this up so I can see where the other hole is in here. Right, that's gone through. You can see why I didn't want a big eye needle, because it makes things difficult. So we're going back through there, out through here, the thing is I can't very easily see my hole, the mark that I made. Let's put the bradawl just through there, so I've got a more defined hole to see. Which is, goodness me. So that's that. It's coming through there like so. And then this is going to go back through there like this, and through the book cloth like this, and I want to make sure it's tight but not too tight. And then we come out through here, and then we go back through here again, go either on the other sort of either side of that other piece of cotton. So through there, and you don't want to split that thread. Back through there like so, and then it's coming back out, so these are going to be tied on the outside. So if you wanted to do it in the reverse and go in from the center inside out the back, then you'll be tying it on the back side. Okay, so now all I have to do is get back through that middle hole. Gosh, my fingers are hurting from this needle. Oh, I think Paddy Dog thinks somebody's around. Probably one of the neighbours doing their own thing in the garden. And he seems to think really no one else should be doing anything in their gardens. Gosh, this is difficult. I'm glad I didn't go for 5 signatures. I really am. I'll never be able to manage that in a million years. Oh, my fingers are hurting. I can't actually get this through. So what am I doing that's not right? We can tighten it up at the end. Something is stopping it, and I don't know what it is. Gosh, that is so difficult. I'm going to... Oh, I've done it. Just as I was going to say, I'm going to have to stop this video. Save you all the torture of watching me struggling. It went through. So back through the original hole at the back. Take this away now, unclip it, and then we're tightening up these. Take the needle out, and I've got to make this one a bit more firm, so I need to move it out that way, like so. And I've got one strand on either side of that centre there, and I must say I prefer the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, I think, to this one. Gosh, I can't get the centre one. I'm going to be in danger of pulling that through. So which one? That one moves that one, and then that one there, and then that one. Right, I've finally done it. I want to make sure I've got one string either side, you know, one piece of this. So I'm not happy with this. Oh dear, I should be fiddling around with this for ages now. Right, that's better. Okay, just check the inside. That looks okay. Although I find tea-dyed paper doesn't look very elegant when it's had holes put through it. So I'm just going to make a couple of knots here, 3, and I'm leaving that on the outside for now. Okay, so that's the first signature in, which is actually going to be my last signature now. I've noticed. Gosh, this is not very good at all. I think I'm going to undo it because I don't like the way that is sitting there like that with the big piece down there. Okay, I'm going to do this off camera, and once I've sewn them onto this, then I'll show you what we do with this. Okay, all right, see you in a bit. My oh my, I'm glad I did a bit of that off camera. It's like wrestling with an octopus. I've got 2 signatures sewn in. That's how far I've got. Now I've got to put the third one in. I thought I'd better come back and do that for you on camera, because otherwise it defeats the object, doesn't it? I've actually got a neck ache now from, I think, being so tense about it. So, okay, to start off with, take our needle. I'm just going to move a few of these bits and pieces out of the way. Take our needle and our thread, and I'm measuring 3.5 lengths for the height of the journal. It's just a rough guesstimate. Better to have too much than not enough. Threading my needle, and I'm sure there must be somebody out there who's done this style of signature before, but I certainly haven't. I really have got a neck ache from so I'm going to have, because I'm only doing 3 signatures, I'm going to have a bit of a gap in between mine, but I don't mind that because I want to fill in. I've got to fill up this journal with ephemera, and I think that's going to make a difference. I'd rather there be a bit more room than, you know, not enough room, to be honest. So the difficulty I have is finding the holes that I made, and making sure that they're all okay. So we're doing a 5-hole signature, and it is not easy. Don't know how I would have managed to do 5 signatures. So we're going through the center hole that we made in the book cloth, and I'm going to catch that thread there. I am just literally using a clip and clipping it around this so that it doesn't pull out, because what I don't want is for it to come adrift and pull out, right? So we're going through the center of the book cloth like so, and then we're going to find the center of our signature, which is going to be there. So initially I can maneuver the papers this way. I find it easier to have them shut, so I seem to be able to find the holes. It's very, very difficult. Honestly, I'm really struggling with this. Oh, dear me. Just the effort of putting in that those two there really have got a bad neck ache. I can't even get this one in. Okay, I'm going to have to use the awl and go through this way, out that way, like that. So if you do have problems, that is one way. And I can actually see daylight through that hole, so that should now go through very easily. Gosh, why is it not? The fiddling around I don't like, because it makes me think that I'm going to end up with a lot of holes. Okay, so we're then going to go, we need to make sure we've got our centerpiece in, which is this handmade paper that I wanted to use in the middle, like so. There's only obviously got 3 holes because it's much smaller. Okay, so I've come up through there and I'm going to go into the hole above it, which is this one. So I'm just going to pull that on like that, then find my, I have to keep manoeuvring this round. So for the now I can sort of move it. So that went through very easily, like so. And then I need to find my matching hole here in the book cloth and try and keep it tight as you go along, but not too tight. Then we're going up to the very top hole, so I'm going through the book cloth like so, and I'm just going to pin that piece of thread to the back there, because that pin or clip was getting in my way a bit, or I feel as if it was. And then we're coming, so we're going through the top hole here, in here, like so. Okay. Then, so this is the top of my journal. So then I'm going to go back down, again, back through this second hole down from the top, like so. Try not to pierce the thread with your needle, if you can help it. Back through the book cloth, like so. And then we're going to miss the middle one out. I don't know how well you can see this, but we're going to miss the middle one out, missing that one out, and we go through the second from the bottom hole. And again, I'll just go through the book cloth first, and then I can manoeuvre, hopefully, this hole, which I think is about there. Okay, I need the awl. Just need to make that hole more visible. I don't want to make it too big, but I do want to make it easier for my needle to go through. So I'm going through the main signature. And like so. Oh. And then obviously through this little piece for the centre, like that. And then we're going to the very bottom hole. Just had an awful thought then that I might have put this one in upside down. I haven't. Wouldn't that be awful after all that effort? So I'm going through the bottom hole of this signature now, like so. And then I'm going through the bottom hole of this book cloth, which is here. So see it quite clearly on the book cloth, actually, the hole. And then we're going to go, now where's my, Don't want to pull my thread through now. Phew. That was close. I'm going to take that off now. So now we're going back through the middle hole, and I'm trying to avoid where I've already been with the thread. I'll go through the book cloth first because that is going to be easier for me. I just pull that thread out, and then I'm going through the signature, and I'm laying it flat so that hopefully it comes up like so. And then we're going to go back through this one here, second from the bottom. So again, I'm just manoeuvring it round and laying that flat. I'm going through this one here. Right, I'm just going to unthread this because I've gone wrong. So this one, I'd gone one too high, one hole too high. So this one's going back through as a second hole. Somehow I managed to miss it on that one. So that was going through there like that. That went through like butter. That's lovely. Then we're going back through the middle, and it's easier to go through the signature first and try and maneuver it, keeping it flat like so. There we are. And then the last one is back through that center hole, making sure I'm not near the original thread. Right, so now take the needle off, and now it's all about tightening this last signature up. Like so, and making sure it's fairly tight inside. As tight as you can, but not over tight, because it will tear the pages. You have to give them a little bit of room for, you know, manoeuvring around. Okay, so I seem to have got that one twisted a bit. So I want one side of this here, this loop, or the middle stitch. Oh, fiddly. And one that side. Then we're just going to tighten it again, check the inside, make sure it's okay, and then we'll do our 3 knots. Oh my goodness. That was really difficult for me. I stick it to 3 pamphlet stitch, I think. So there we have the spine all done. We've got these trailing bits. I think we're going to have to cut those down because they're on the outside, and we're going to be sticking this down. So I'm just using my gut feeling about what I need to do. So now this goes into the spine and we stick it down. Oh, my neck. I just put my bulldog clip back. So on the back page, it shows you the spine being stuck down. It says, when all the signatures have been sewn to the book cloth, apply a strong glue, in brackets I use Fabri-Tac, in between the spine folds on the cloth. Line up with your spine piece and attach. When the spine is firmly attached, glue the 2 flaps and press into place on the cover boards here and here. And then to finish, you can cut pieces of heavy paper or cardstock to fit inside the cover boards and glue that into place. So I showed you on the previous one, I'm going to use this cardstock. It's a Bow Bunny sheet. I buy odd sheets from the Fruit Pixie. They're about 40p a sheet. Sometimes I prefer to do that than buy a whole 12 by 12 pad, which might contain some that I don't actually like. And this is called Rose Cafe Garden, so it's from that pad. I mean, I find in the UK it's not easy to get Graphic 45, Bow Bunny, and Kaiser Crafts. All those, it's not so easy to get, and they're quite expensive on Amazon because I don't think they're sort of sourced in the UK. So that's what I'm going to use on the inside of my flap. And I've just knocked down something now. Okay. That's what I'm going to use. Right. Put that over there. So what we want to do is get the Fabri-Tac now. Take that clip off. And see, it's very chunky. And I'm pleased because there's plenty of room now. It's like in the spine, you know, there's some nice room, and it's turned out quite neat, I think. There, look. So I'm going to get the Fabri-Tac, and well, mine is Beacon 3-in-1. I swear it's the same as Fabri-Tac. I've always thought this. The bottles are very similar. The glue is particularly similar. But just wipe that off. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line of glue along this book cloth. Obviously this doesn't like the cold. My hand still hurts from the other day when I was squeezing this. So I'm going to put a liberal amount on, and I'm going to put it either side of the stitched signature, from the top to the bottom, and then all the way down there. I'm pressing this bottle so hard that my hand is trembling. And so I'm only going to those lines that I made, the folds in this cloth. Gosh. Okay, so now I need to maneuver it so that I can see the 2 fold lines, and oh, I've got to make sure it's kind of centered top and bottom, which it is. And then I'm going to have to leave that now to stick down. I'm just going to get my bone folder, because in between the signatures I know there's a gap. I'll just see if I can press this down onto here. Let's have a look, see whether we can or not. Give it a press down with the end of the bone folder, and again this one. There's about 1/4 inch gap between each signature on the spine, and just this one again there. like so, and I'm just going to redo the back one like that. So then we'll be sticking the flaps down. So that looks, I can actually just get my finger in there, just give that a push down. So what I need to do now, I think, is lay it down like this and keep it flat. So I'm going to use my grandson Arthur's paperweight that he made me when he was, oh, it wasn't even 2, I don't think. That doesn't want to step there. I'm going to put that to the side. And tidy up and say to you, thanks for persevering with me. But that was difficult for me. That was something I've never done. I thought I'd do it on camera. I'm sure there are lots of people, crafters, who've done that or do it most of the time, use that way of doing it. I certainly haven't come across it. So I think it was a good learning curve. Oh, I got this for Christmas. I've actually got this lovely 2.5-inch punch, which is really nice. I always wanted one because you can make some nice tags and things, can't you? It's a nice size. So I guess the next one up will be 3-inch. Very, very expensive. So I did put it on my Secret Santa Christmas list. So it's very heavy though. It's very good quality. So long may it last, and not, you know, be one of these things that actually only last a few times. So here's what we used, our template. And it was only really just to put those 3 rows of 5 holes for signatures. I used the middle line, folded it over and put that in the middle of the signature and made the holes with the bradawl. And then when it came to the book cloth, we laid it flat and we put the holes in on the book cloth. We laid it on that. So that is that. So I hope that was interesting, and I'm going to speak to you again soon. Decided that I might, rather than do Marguerite Miller's 52-week collage challenge, the 3rd volume, she's got another sort of way of doing collage on her Etsy shop, and I purchased that, and I'll show you that in my next video. And I'll be going to be doing that once a week. I thought it'd be a nice change. So that will be the next video to look out for. Okay, take care everyone. Thanks for joining me. I really, really do value your support and your subscriptions. I'm still under 600 subscribers. So I'm hoping to be able to grow those to 1,000 this year, 2023. So that's my aim. So I know 1,000 is nothing compared to some crafters on here, but you know, what do they say? Slow and steady wins the race. And I'm still working 3 days a week, so you know that does have an impact. So I'll see you all again. Well, no, I won't. I'll speak to you all again soon. So take care, everyone, and Happy New Year to you all. Bye bye.